What are some of your spending habits that you have become accustomed to? This could be as simple as frequently eating out, or possibly bigger, like saving for a car. Do these purchases reflect on how you manage your money? Think about that through this entire TED Talk. As we grow up, our parents typically tell us to save our money in hopes of being able to purchase something big. It might be easy to throw some change into a piggy bank as a child. But as we grow up, we have demanding wants and needs, and never enough money or resources to supply those desires. It's often stated that teens tend to waste their money on short-term purchases such as fast food, trendy clothes, and the latest shoes. But is that because we're not aware of our financially burdened future? Or do we not care about our future wealth because everything will just work out? Well, the answer to that question varies throughout the lives of adolescents throughout the United States. One side of that correlates to the amount of public education received in public schools. According to a study performed by the Council for Economic Education, only 17 out of 50 states in America require personal finance as a high school graduation requirement. In fact, Virginia is one of only 3 states that require a full high school credit in both economics and finance. Financial education is so critical to our financial future. Learning how to create and stick to a budget, manage debt, and set aside money for an emergency fund or investment are just some of the few basic principles that go a long way in changing someone's money mindset. Sure, we've established that our country has a weak structure in financial education, but is there really any difference between those that take a class in personal finance and those left with nearly nothing? Well, it turns out that an in-depth study by the education technology companies EverFi and HireOne analyzed data from a basic financial literacy test, administered to over 65,000 first-year college students nationwide, with relevant topics such as banking, credit cards, and student loans. And let me tell you, the results can prove the point on their own. Findings show that students who have previously been enrolled in a personal finance course show evident forms of responsibility and behaviors such as taking out a loan, maintaining a healthy bank balance, and buying everyday items on credit. This test group is obviously more aware of the negative effects of debt and how to use a reasonable decision-making process over their personal finances. If teenagers and young adults are financially literate before they head off to college, they will run into some serious financial problems in the future. In fact, the average college graduate comes out with over $30,000 in student loans and doesn't pay that off completely for another 20 years. It's also important to note the spending of a regular college student, since most just tend to charge everything on a credit card, some of which are graduating with up to $4,000 in credit card debt, which skyrockets their interest rates and it takes a big hit on their credit score. Educators and policymakers should be very concerned about the very low numbers of school systems requiring personal finance across the nation. Everyone needs to be prepared if another financial crisis strikes the US. Even 8 years after the struck of the Great Depression, almost half, 49% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And an astonishing 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account. Paying more attention to the upcoming generations is necessary because we are the future of the world, and the hard data is present to state the flaws of the current system. Think back to the original question. Are you financially stable?